Mr. Yip-Hon Weng.
Madam Deputy Speaker, the gambling landscape has evolved greatly. Modern and emerging forms of gambling, enabled by technology, make youth and even young children susceptible to its insidious nature. Our seniors are also increasingly vulnerable as they are consuming more online content. We must ensure that our regulatory approach towards gambling is up to date and forward-looking. Regulation and enforcement of gambling laws is sometimes like a cat and mouse game. Despite laws and resources to conduct enforcement, illegal service providers and gambling addicts will try to circumvent these regulations. They will also search for ambiguities to evade the rules. The constant stream of unsolicited text messages touting illegal betting activities come to mind. I support the consolidation of regulation bodies under a single gambling regulatory authority or GRA to regulate all forms of gambling activities. This will allow for more holistic and cohesive management of gambling policies, as well as the emerging trends and products related to gambling. In doing so, we can better identify and minimize loopholes in the system. In my budget debate speech last week, I called for more efforts to streamline processes and reduce redundancy in the public service to cut out unnecessary costs and resource wastage. Consolidating agencies and regulations is a step in the right direction. I have 4 queries on the bill. First, will the ministry share details about how the merger of the different regulatory bodies will be conducted? How will the ministry ensure that there are synergies between the different agencies that are being converged? Will this move lead to an excess of employees who will have to be redeployed to other departments or agencies? Second, how will the consolidation of gambling control measures impact the management of cross-border remote gambling? Despite good efforts from our Singapore police force to rein in illegal remote gambling, it is getting increasingly rampant. There have been several reports about remote gambling operations being uncovered in Singapore. It is also common to receive text messages from unknown sources that promote illegal gambling activities. Some elderly residents have asked me about a constant flow of texts they have received about horse and soccer betting. The borderless nature of remote gambling makes it clandestine. Compulsive gamblers would use virtual private networks to access blocked websites and apps. Some countries have introduced or updated their remote gambling laws, including Germany, the UK, and Switzerland. They would license some commercial remote gambling platforms and subject them to gambling duties. Third, can the ministry provide further clarification on products and services containing financial risk elements which are being excluded? For example, the ministry clarified that there are no intentions of treating investments in financial products as gambling products, as those are already regulated through other legislations and fall under the purview of the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Likewise, the ministry also stated the exemption for physical social gambling amongst family and friends at home. What about products like non-fungible tokens or NFTs, which are not regulated? Some have likened it to gambling because of the amount of speculation involved. Lastly, how will the updated advertising and promotion, or A&P laws, apply to activities containing an optional gambling element, including mobile games with mystery boxes? I note that the Gambling Control Bill seeks to introduce consistency with regards to treatment of A&P offences across all types of gambling. In Singapore, A&P for gambling activities is not allowed unless specifically approved by the authorities. Currently, we still see such mobile games being advertised on mainstream media and outdoor advertising platforms. Admittedly, a blanket restriction on A&P could come across as harsh for games, where the main gameplay has no gambling elements. Publicity for online games tend to be driven through player communities. Therefore, reducing exposure through A&P also has limits to practicality. Ultimately, education and awareness, along with laws and enforcement, are important to curb gambling. Parents too must do their part to impart financial literacy to their children and pay heed to their online activities. Madam Deputy Speaker, I will conclude in Chinese. 副议长女士，俗话说得好， 赌桌上没有父子，可见赌博是无情的。我接见选民时见过，在上网赌博而上瘾的居民，他们输了很多钱，不知道怎么办，所以用一个单一的机构全面管理赌博活动是正确的做法。我支持这项法案，谢谢。I support the bill.